We're here today at the Royal Society of Edinburgh to discuss the issues of open standards and open source in digital technologies, and to put that into context of the wider digital technologies industry in Scotland.
For me, today's event is really interesting, but it really brought that out, and as a supplier to the public sector, I think where we can add most value is thinking about how we help them publish linked data sets that can be consumed to provide citizen-centric services. And I think there's a spin-off from that as well in terms of economic development in Scotland and helping our SMEs grow and thrive.
We at CGI have opened a new Digital Services Centre in Glasgow. We want to bring those engineering disciplines back to Clydeside. So the heavy engineering disciplines may have gone, but the software disciplines we want to bring back, and we want to use open source as a vehicle for the young, up-and-coming, talented development community in the west and central belt of Scotland to be able to contribute to that.
The strategy that Edinburgh is taking forward has as one of its guiding principles that where practical we'll use open standards in the way that we construct our IT and digital services. And I think that pragmatic approach is the way we have to take things forward at the moment.
I think today's conversation actually steered away from open source into open data, because we're talking more about the data having value and less the black box that underpins it. It's about the services that are created for citizens that allows you to be engaged more fully with government, with local government. So I think it can only be a good thing. And I think that, driven by the Cabinet Office at Westminster, we're seeing government prerogative for data to be publicly accessible. When that data is available, it can be used to create really interesting digital public services that can support my life and your life.
I think the flexibility of open standards and the interoperability and so forth, I think that introduces new opportunities. So I think that's the real benefit of this movement. Particularly the growth of things like app stores, where you can download particular applications, you're paying perhaps a subscription for them or whatever. That actually takes the power away from the strategic planners and puts the power in the hands of the consumer. So the consumer is the person who then decides what they want. And that creates whole new applications that are public sector applications. You know, these are real needs in the public realm. People actually want these things.
I certainly think that open standards makes companies more nimble, more agile, but not necessarily because it gets rid of problems with licensing. There are a vast number of licensing regimes that can apply. This is partly because of the nature of open source software, because it is more collaborative. There are more people involved in developing the software, and therefore there are more licenses that can kick in.
There is not a large body of open source knowledge, commercial knowledge in large consultancies. They struggle with it. They're tied into proprietary software, proprietary practices. And the smaller organisations like ours, more agile, more focused and more experienced on open source platforms, means that we have things to bring to the party that aren't in large abundance out there.
So that's been a really interesting discussion, and we've explored a lot of themes, developed them in some detail, and so it's great to know that there's real opportunities out there for Scotland's digital businesses as we move into 2014.